Howdy, and welcome back to another live coding. Today's going to be a little bit different because I have a pull request that changes us over to using Kayak UI. And it's a proof of concept by another cool dude, and I think today I want to evaluate it. And there's an issue with not being able to display images, and I want to try to solve that today. My goal today was to live stream, but YouTube has me on a 24-hour wait before I can do that. So I figured I'd do one of these today, just to be recording something. I'm also in a different house. I'm in an Airbnb right now, so I might be a little bit quieter, or the audio might be a bit different than you're used to. So to get started, I'll show off what we have. This is from the pull request. I'm just working out of the pull request. I haven't merged it yet because I'm still trying to figure out how it works. But we can pick up things, and we have a new UI where I have twigs and flint, and I can craft, and I'll make an axe, and I can put it into my hand. And it all seems to still work. I haven't tried out making a shovel yet. I'm seeing some frame rate drops that I might want to maybe try profiling, or maybe that's just something weird with my recording setup. But we'll see if that becomes a real problem. So first off, let me take off my headphones. Oops, just hit the desk. I apologize, I'm also on a new desk, so I have no idea if there's going to be loud bangs. So my theory is we have support for images. I haven't quite got my head around how this works yet, so let me try to explain my theory of it for now, just so everyone's on the same page. Basically, it uses RSX, which I don't know if that's a real format. RSX. Okay, it's a stock format. It's a file extension. Yeah, I don't actually know what this file format is, but Kayak UI, let's see, it uses the RSX proc macro, which is what we're using here, which turns RSX syntax. And I don't quite know where RSX comes from. Top-level macro works the same way as RSX, but it's for the root widget. And this is all done with procedural macros, which I'm not as comfortable with, but they seem to all be working really well, so I'm not opposed to it. And the idea is we have these widgets. So Kayak comes with a button widget, and it has properties, and then the properties here, here's the list of properties, and we can create those by just doing onEvent and giving an event and curly braces, or styles, or disabled. And if we look here, we should see styles, disabled, onEvent. And so that seems to be how that's working. And image here has image props, which takes a handle. But it's not a Bevy handle. It's something that comes from their image manager system, which, as I understand, let me find where I'm getting that, seems to just be a hash map from their own IDs into image handles. And when we create them, it will register it in their hash map and give it an ID if it's seen it, if it hasn't seen it before. Otherwise, it will return back the handle. So I don't know why they choose to do that, but it's a bit weird. Also, when we create widgets, which let me see in Game UI. I think this is what's creating our UI. Oh wait, this is a widget too. I don't actually know where the root is. So setup Game UI renders a context, which is an app, which is the only widget is Game UI. And then this widget is made up out of other widgets, which are windows that have our inventory UI, recipe UI, and hand UI, which are all created by us, and they're widgets, and they have their own properties, which UI properties for the inventory seems to only have styles right now. Oops. It's been over a week since I've touched code, so my fingers are going to be a bit cold. But this seems to be the way it's all working. So what I want to do is I want to make this inventory widget display images instead of this text, which is showing... Where is the text being created? Oh, it's an item widget that I want to change. The item widget is what's showing our items, and instead of showing an image, right now they're showing the item and its count. And it's creating a button that we can click that will trigger an event and a handle to an image. Or, I mean, right now, originally it was the content of an item. So the change I've made to the pull request, trying to understand it, is I've added this manager, or I've added a handle to the properties. Which if I look at item properties, now it has an optional handle to a Bevy image, which is just a rename of image because widgets was colliding with it. So I need to figure out how to set this handle, and I need to get my hands on some images. And it seems I haven't quite figured out where the magic comes from with this widget macro, but it seems like we can query to get, let me just show off the function directly. Oh, come on. If we do context.queryWorld, I guess context comes from the proc macro, we can give it any system parameter, such as resources and queries, and then operate on a function and return back whatever we need to return back. So here, the person that made the pull request uses the event writer resource, or event writer from Bevy, and it writes the UI event, it sends it, and it'll set click to false. And I've made my own query that gets the image manager resource and tries to get back the handle that Kayak wants from the handle we get from the properties. But before we get into all of this, we have one problem that we also had with Bevy's UI, and which is why we didn't use Bevy's UI originally. It gets in here. The renderer only supports image. Yeah, this is where the image manager is. And it does not support texture atlas sprites. And I've went down the rabbit hole. I can show off me looking at the engine. This is a lot of intro, but this is a bit different than what we normally do. So here in the engine, we see where they extract sprites, and they do two queries, one for all of the sprites and one for all the texture atlas sprites, and they create this extracted resource, or extracted sprites resource. I'm assuming this happens in the extract phase. And it fills it with these extracted sprites, and they do it once for all the sprites by iterating over the sprites query. Oh, let me turn on mouse capture. Give me 1 second. Capture cursor. Yeah, I had that off in the last episode, and I noticed it. But we have the sprites query, and we have the texture atlas query. And they fill it. They fill a vector, I think. Extracted sprites, which I think was a vector. Yeah. They fill a vector with all of the normal sprites with the rectangle set to none. And then they fill a vector, or they continue filling that vector with all the texture atlas sprites with the rect set to the one from the texture atlas sprites based off its index. And then from here, the renderer treats them as the same. So I don't know why there's so much difficulty in getting stuff in the UI, or images in the UI. Gotta be precise with language. But I did find an open pull request that has been, the person who made it said that they will completely redo it. And this was 18 days ago. But theoretically, this is what we want. It would give texture atlas support to the UI, and it sounds like it has to have its own extraction system and its own bundles and whatnot, so it's a bit more complex than I want to go down the rabbit hole of, but this is being fixed in Bevy. So all of that gets us to, let me throw Bevy off to the side. I think I'm just going to write a system to take all of our texture atlases when we create them and just manually create images out of them. So that way we'll have just tons of images that are, basically we could do this, where's the graphics? We could do this ourselves by breaking this into tons of PNGs, but I don't like that and I think it's not manageable. So I'm just going to write a function to take all the data from the image and create a new image. So I think that's what I want to start doing. That was 10 minutes of messing around, but I think we have a goal, which I don't know if we're going to achieve today because I don't know how the system works and how I'm even going to populate this handle. But let's go ahead and get started. So in assets, let's figure out when we load the images, and we add them to our own hash map. And I think what I want to do here is I also want to have an image map. So it's going to be a hash map from world object to a custom image, which I guess will be a handle to an image. And I need to populate this. So when we make item map, I'm going to create a function up here, which will be convert to image, which will need, I guess, a texture atlas sprite. I don't know how this is going to work. Atlas sprite, which will be a texture atlas sprite, and somehow it's going to create a handle to an image. Somehow. And a texture atlas sprite here. I guess it's also going to need the original texture. So let's also get original texture or image, which is a handle to an image. Actually, I think I just want a reference to the image. I don't want to do all the asset management here. Well, I'm going to need to because I need to add it as an asset. So original image handle, and I think it's assets of the image type will get me what I want. Assets image. This feels like it gets me where I'm going. So I think this is the function I want to write. And I want to say, let's look at image. Image lets me create a new one with raw binary data. So I need to create this, I need the format, I need to create the data, and I need to get the dimensions and extents. So let's say I want to call this function, which will give me an image. So let's say let image equal this. And we'll work that out. And then assets dot add image. And that returns back the handle. So this is what we need. So extent 3D. Okay, I've broken all my formatting. Oh, and this will be image new. Let's actually look at Bevy's docs and see how we can create an image. See if there's an easier option. So this creates a new one. We can fill it with 1 pixel. And we can reinterpret size. We can resize it. We're appending 0 to data. Does not properly resize the contents of the image, only its data buffer. That's not great. We can get the size back of it. Extent 3D. Width, height, depth. So I'm going to assume the depth is 4, and we can get the size. Okay. So, wait. Okay, the size is defined how for these. Textures is a vector of rectangles. And I'm assuming the index just is an index into it. Maybe I don't want a texture out with sprite. I want the size. Or I want the rec for it. Right? So create a new empty asset. And we have my rec. Ooh, that sounds weird. So I actually want my rec. Which should tell me the position and the size. So let's say size here equals extent 3D. Why is that not no definition? Image new. Extent 3D. Can I just like use it? Sure. Let size equal extent 3D. New, maybe? Why? Why is this all broken? Extent 3D does it have a new? No, I'll just make it by hand. Width, height, and, whatever. Width is going to be sprite dot size dot 0. Height. Maybe I just need to comment this out. Or let's just clean it up. Maybe I just have too much mess in my code right now for this to work out. Why is format macro? Oh, that's just a thing. Okay. Image format. Extent 3D. Now can I import you? Beautiful. I can live. Alright. And depth or array layers? I'm going to say 4. Because we'll have alpha. And sprite does not have size. Why not? It does. So what are you complaining about? Expected usize. So I can probably just do as usize. Maybe? Sure. No? What are you not happy about? No. 32. Sure. Okay. Dimension. What do you think dimension will be? Texture dimension. D2. Beautiful. So let me set my texture dimension to be D2. Because everything we'll be loading here will be two-dimensional images. And the data we're going to need to construct in the image format. Image format. What have I done? New texture format. RGBA. We just set texture format. I think it's RGBA signed integer 8. We'll come back to that. And data, let's say data equals vec default, I think. Maybe. Sure. So at least this now should compile. And let's figure out where we're going to plug in here. So for every item, when we find the graphic, I want to insert into the item map. I also want to go and do create a hash map for the image map. And I'm going to insert that down here in the bottom of this image map. And what I want to do is call our function image map insert the item and what do I call it? Convert to image of this my rec. Let's see, rec. The original image handle. Or see, where can I get that from? Do I have this anywhere? Image handle. Probably clone it. And assets of image. Image assets, res assets of image. Sure. And it will give you the image assets. Sorry if I'm being quieter. It's a bit weird being in someone's home. And sure, I'll make a star, because why not? And let's see. What are we upset about? Cannot borrow is mutable. I also have to deal with all these clippy warnings. Assets.add image. Cannot borrow as mutable. Why does that need to mutate it? Oh, this needs to be mutable. Mutable. And here I'm going to need it to be mutable and mutable because I'm going to be hand adding an image to it. And texture atlas, when we create it, is consuming the handle. So let's just clone it. And image assets is being moved in the previous iteration of the loop. So I don't want to move it, I want a reference to it. And here I'll borrow. Oh. Assets is an ampersand reference, so the data it refers to cannot be borrowed as mutable. Image assets does not need to be mutable. I think this needs to be a mutable borrow. It's been a while. And then your type here is a mutable borrow. Remove that mute. That seems to be happy. And what I want to do is I want to print out what the image format is. Oops. Just to see. Because I think this will be the easiest way. Because I'm going to need to know the image format myself to be able to copy it. So it'd be original image, or I need assets dot get original image dot something. This should give me the image, and then the texture descriptor down the rabbit hole. The texture descriptor should have the format. Texture descriptor dot format. Texture descriptor dot format. Don't like how this isn't auto-completing, since that probably means something is very wrong. Get here does not return back what I want. Returns back an option. I'll expect it, because I will be expecting it. And let's see what we do. I guess I don't need to be full screen. Okay, we hard crash. Unwrapped on a none. So you don't exist. Why not? Oh, because the load doesn't... The load's happening asynchronously. So the handle doesn't actually refer to an image yet. Unfortunate. The geo not be available at the time the call returns. Is there an option to not do this asynchronously? I mean, I have some ideas, but let's just try out some dumb stuff first. Is it thread sleep? I just want to sleep for a second. Sleep and thread, std thread, sleep. And let's say duration, what? New? Duration, help. From seconds, maybe? From sex1. And my computer should be able to load it in that time. What did you not like about this? Expected U64. Okay, sure. And let's hope loading's on a different thread. And happens in the same frame. It does not. Okay. So, our load graphics. So I need to know when, I need to know when the image is loaded. Let's get a dependency on Bevy loading. Bevy asset loader. Do you support 7? Image assets. Good grief. Alright. Seems to work. So let's try it out. So what this should do is it should let us swap to a stage as soon as the assets are loaded. And then in that stage, I should be able to do a startup function that does all of my conversions. It'd be nice if there was an alternative, simpler solution. But I guess we just need this anyway. We'll put up a nice splash screen, like made with Bevy or something. Alright. This is what this is requiring. So we need Bevy asset loader 0.11. And let's just need a cargo build command. Task. Let's make a nice cargo build command. Comma. Build, and this will be a format and build. Cool. And so to use this, I think all I need to do is make a state. I need to make some game states. So let's go to main. And we're going to have a nice splash screen state. Splash and main. And I need to add the state. Very beginning here. And I'm going to add the state as splash. And I think all I want... What in the world is all this? Asset loader. Yeah, sure, let's just do what they want. Image assets. This looks kind of cool. Let me just play around with this for a second. So we say let mute app equal app new, and then here we just say app. I need to import all this. Let me just import star, because this is probably where I'll be using it. It won't come back to hurt me, right? And splash will be our first state, and main will be that state, and the collection of image assets will be this, which to-do will be moved. Move to assets, RS. Sprite sheet, and its path is, I'm assuming this is relative to assets, its path will be Bevy survival sprites.png. I don't think I named it that. And like I didn't change this hex here. The pull requests change weird stuff, and I just kind of merge them because it's fun. So this should now load all of those, I'm assuming. And then image assets is what we want. And I need to make sure everything is in... I'm going to need to change some of the systems, but I think this is fine. Let me make this public. And let's get started. We've needed state management for this game for a while anyway. So now, add system to startup stage. Add startup system to stage. Startup stage, pre-startup. Add startup system to stage. That's not exactly what I want. I think I want to add a system set on entering main. On enter game state main. And what are we not happy about? Add system. With system. Yeah. And this will load graphics when we enter main. And here, I don't actually need the asset server. I need the resource of images, or sprite sheet, which is res of image assets. And image handle here will equal image assets dot spreadsheet, I think. Yeah. Let me make that public. No field spreadsheet on prelude image is what? Oh, sprite sheet. A little bit janky. And we'll clone it. Sure. Okay. So this is interesting. I don't think this will work. I think this is about to crash really hard. But we'll see. Actually, let's just see. I think I'm going to need to change everything over to using this new state. So we now have a dependency on Bevy loading, which seems to be relatively updated. So I don't mind that. If we're already going to be dependent on something like Kayak, which is much less reliable. Because I don't even think it's fully updated to 0.7 yet. So we panic in the items plugin. Where do I define the plugins? Right, components and then plugins need to be at the top on these files. And we're panicking at spawn test objects. So on enter, we're loading the graphics. Let me just start. I think this will work. So images. Where is I just at? Ah. Cool. So instead of with system this, it's with system self spawn test objects. And probably all of these need to be with system. And extra closing parentheses here, delete this, use game state, which probably should be in the preload. And let's see where we crash next. Quite the rabbit hole we're going down today. So spawn player is next. I made a mistake here. On enter and then on update. And system set. Sorry, my eyes are starting to glaze over. So here, we'll do the exact same idiom of on entering main, we'll spawn the player, dot with system self dot spawn player. But okay, we're gonna need to still do ordering. And then on update, we'll do the rest. Sorry, I'm focusing on getting this accurate. Let's see, I can probably delete you, delete this, and put a semicolon there and a parenthesis there, and import game state. And you don't need a semicolon because after that we'll register inspectable. Build. Let's see, can I do labels? So we have label graphics, which actually we don't need anymore. We'll keep it. And so spawn player definitely needs to happen dot after graphics. And item spawning test objects also needs to happen after graphics. Yeah, these should not be strings. These should be the actual function names. I can only go down so many rabbit holes before I start losing my mind. Alright, we have the code built. Let's run it. Yeah, just keep crashing. This is a bad crash. Kill, or xkill. Goodbye. So what are we upset with? The game camera now also needs to happen in main because that follows. Ooh. Now we're getting into some complex nonsense. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Add startup system to stage pre-startup. Why is this in pre-startup? Spawns the camera. Somebody has printed out camera spawned. So I take it this needs to happen before the UI can be initialized or something like that. Because that's not a print message I would have made. But we're gonna trample on forward. So we're gonna add a system stat when we enter main to spawn the camera. Oh, and it's also now labeled camera. With system, spawn camera. Labeled camera. Hope that doesn't actually need to be on pre-startup. And the next ones happen in post-update for timing purposes. Can we do with system in stage or something nutty? Or you can do run criteria, so we can definitely do them in stage. On exit, on enter, on update. With system. Before, after, bake. I don't know what bake does. Oh, bake is when it probably makes the schedule. Can I not import this? No. Yeah, let's just keep working. My brain's really starting to slow down now. So I probably should take a break. But I won't. So let's see. And then camera follows player is what we're missing. With system, camera follows player. What? What system did I forget? Camera follow and camera follows player. So camera follow. Oh wait. Camera follows player. And it's not on enter, it should be on update. The run task is actually not active. Okay, now what? We crash, no entities, and the mouse. Because the mouse expects a camera in the pre-update. Which I think I will just return. Assuming there's actually one mouse, so query single is okay. What if I do query get single? right? Which returns a result. And let's say if let okay, we will continue down the rabbit hole. Is that right? And this needs an extra set of parentheses. And that way when that result returns an error, it will just not do whatever this is doing. Insert the resource. Hard crash. Alright. Left does not equal right. Left is 462. Right is 0. Ooh, this is crashing because our data is not the right size. How exciting. Which means this is what we've wanted this whole time. We're now back to working. Sweet. Okay, I'm excited again. Let's see, where were we putting our function? Assets. And we were putting our function convert to image now needs to be RGBA 8 unorm sRGB, which tells us that we have red, green, blue, and alpha channels, 8 bits per integer. And I will assert that is true. So let's assert that texture format will always be texture format RGBA 8U norm sRGB. I always forget equal. And I think actually in Bevy's docs on image there is a convert to a texture format. So to do, or theoretical to do, convert if mismatch. Cool. So now we have let original data equal dot data. It was moved here, so let's just clone it. And we have the original data. So, because I'm probably going to put a timestamp around here, what we just did in that whole nightmare is we've set up a loading stage using the cool Bevy loading plugin. And it starts us out in the splash screen stage until the image is loaded and we actually have our hands on the data, which happens in probably 100 milliseconds, but it was important to do. And after that puts us in the main stage, which now all of our game has to take place in the main stage. And we messed around to actually make our game support stages. Theoretically. We still haven't had the game running, so who knows what systems are running when they shouldn't be. But we'll just fix those as they come up. Because if it compiles and it doesn't crash, I trust Bevy. So now we have a vector of U8s. And let's also get the original size. Let size equal. Sure. I probably should just get the image. Let's say let image equal. Or what original image equal assets dot get original image dot don't even need clone dot unwrap. And here I'll just say original image equals that. Why is this formatting just gross? And now original image dot size. Ooh, let me get the size of it. Turns to size. Oh, so I also want to get the format. Convert is compressed. from buffer. Reinterpret stack 2D. Reinterpret stack 2D as array. Reinterpret size. Aspect. New film. New. Now we're going to have to populate our new data with the data we want to use. So, what does this mean? So, every pixel is 4 entries in the vector in image.data. And we know the size of the image, and we know the size and position of our new image. So it's time to do a bit of math. Okay. Sorry, my brain is wiped. So let's start out with let mut_x equals, what's our starting x? It would be, let's change this to be sprite descriptor. Hello. It's going to be the sprite descriptor dot x plus the original image dot size dot x times sprite desc dot y. Right? Let me launch a tool so we can visualize what we're doing. Tools, Sprite, Sprite. Let's create a new thing. It's going to be 512 by 512. And the idea is, somewhere in the image here, we have a sprite that we want. Make a rectangle. And we are starting out at its x plus the width of the entire image times its y. And this should be the index of this pixel times 4. Let's do index. Let index sprite desc dot position dot position. I think if I made this rec, it would be called position, but I did not, so it's called pause. So that gets us our original position, and it's probably .0, .1. Okay, that's our first index as usize. Cool. Put this away, get more screen space. And we want to get our data from the original image data at the index times 4. And we want our data dot push that. This is just going to be gross for now. And for now, I mean this will be how I leave it. But this should copy over a single pixel. Okay. And so now we need to figure out how we're going to loop. So let's say, so we need to do the whole row. Also recording Vim macro. Wonder how long I've been doing that. So we're going to loop over all of our x values. So let's say let for x in 0 to sprites desc dot size dot position. So this is starting index. Breaks dot position dot 0. And let index equal starting index equal starting index plus x. Sprite disk dot size. Okay. As use size. So this copies the entire first row. And then we need to get all of the rows. So for y, we want to say what starting index, or starting index. Oh, okay. Every time we do a y, we'll do start index plus an entire row. So original image dot y. Dot size plus y. Now let's just see. What does that get us? What are you not compiling with? What? As use size. Probably definitely not the correct way to do it. But it works, I'm hoping. I have no way to know if this is actually working. I'm just trying to see if it crashes. It should crash if we don't have the correct number of pixels. So we don't. We have made 4 times as many pixels. Why? Why? Left, right. So let's see. Let's see. We're pushing the index. Why are we doing 4 times as many as we need? For each x and y, we're pushing 4 pixels. And our output size expects 4 pixels. Is the depth actually 1? Feeling like the depth is actually 1. Because it's 1 image. And that's not 4 channels. Alright, now what do we panic? I've got another timing issue. So items, plugin, spawn test objects does not exist. Items. Spawn text objects happens after graphics. But graphics happens before then. Label graphics. Enter main. Enter main with system after graphics. But the asset graphics does not exist. Graphics. 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 So the ordering is not happy. In fact, no matter how many times I run this, it'll be consistent. Oh, it panicked. 2 threads panic. Wait, graphics doesn't exist in spawn player. So let's look at player. Spawn player happens after graphics. So I don't know if ordering's working here. System. I want with system in stage. On enter main. Sure, let's add one more stage. Graphics. And then one more stage. Graphics. And one more stage here. Or can I do on exit? Ooh. Graphics happens on exiting. Assets. On exiting splash. This video is going to be so long. So on exiting splash, crash. Oh, but we crashed where we wanted to crash. All right, goodbye, Sprite. Yeah, Sprite's also just crashed. Don't save that file. So now we've crashed back in the UI widgets. So we, theoretically, this is all working. Very untested. But now we need to figure out back into... Now I need to actually learn what this pull request is doing. Oh, please don't do that. So when we... Where is this widget created? And actually, let's just get rid of view for now. Handle. I need to figure out where these properties are set. Item props. Who's creating an item widget? Let's see. Fire graphics, game UI widgets. Item name. Event type. Handle none. Okay, this is where I'm at. So here, I want to give it the handle to something. So UI items. Let's see. So let handle vec tracker. Item, map item. Gross. So let handles equal, right? UI items for item and UI items. Dot iter. UI items is dot what? For item and UI items dot inventory items. Right? Can I get the insides of a binding? Get wait. Okay. And then the handle, we're going to get the resource of graphics. And then can I find graphics? Import graphics. And for, I don't think I need to move. Graphics. And I want to return graphics dot image map dot get for the item. Let's see. In inventory items, it's an item and account, so it's item.item. What are you? World object. Which turns back an optional handle to an image, I think. Import world object. I'm being very not entertaining right now. So please import this. I did import you. Consider borrowing it. That I can do. And unwrap. Because I will expect that image to exist. What are we not happy about? Oh no. Please don't. Clone. Just clone it. Thank God. So now we have the handle. We have a handle for each item. Okay. Just handle. I just want to get something rendering, please. Let mute handle equal. How am I going to do this? Item.clone. Can I put code in this RSX thing? I wouldn't be able to get my hand on graphics. But I could just return graphics. That would move it, probably. I'd have to clone it. I can clone the image map, sure. Handles. What's that? And I can do handles dot get item dot clone. Expect an option, found a reference an option. Dot unwrap. Let's see. I actually need to read what I'm doing. So first needs to be item.item. Needs to probably be an ampersand world object of item dot item. Make that hash map happy. I assume I can put new lines in this. And now what do I got? Expected handle found a reference. Well, I don't want to call unwrap on that. Expected an option found a reference. I'll set to sum. Expected. Can I deref? Handle does not make copy. Type handle cannot be dereferenced. I agree. And now you compile. Good hard crash. Graphics does not exist. Great. I love seeing this error. Or does it not exist? Resource. Main panicked because resource graphics does not exist. And you crash. Probably in this function where graphics does not exist. When I create the UI. So now I actually have to understand where UI is created. Great. Which I think is in probably game UI. In game UI, when we set up, this needs to not be here. This needs to be add. Haven't committed this to memory. Let me just go grab it from the player. Add system set on enter main for game UI with system. Set up game UI. And I need to import game state. Okay, let's see how we do now. Wait, update inventory UI. Does not exist. I have to do this for everything. This is miserable. Update inventory UI. Update inventory UI. Add system set on enter main. With system update inventory UI. On update. So theoretically, I don't even know what I'm expecting to happen at this point. Oh, I got one frame. Let's see. We call unwrap on none in game UI widgets. Interesting. So, let's see. Image. Does image actually need a handle, or does it take an optional handle? So we probably are calling unwrap on none because I've only done this for one of the four, or one of the three sections. So let's go back to game UI and see where I've not done this. Let's see. Where did I just put this nonsense? I did it for inventory UI. I need to do it for hand UI. I think. And we need to get the handles again. Now let's delete this, delete that, delete this. Hopefully all this only happens once. But we'll come back to it. Why do we not have... Oh, it's hand item. Sure. Oh, it's an option. so I think I'm just going to not do the hand. Let's just remove the other two for now. So where is this set up? Recipe in game UI. We spawn these, which I don't want to do. Let's just run it. And that way we'll only see if we have the inventory working. Beautiful. Now does the inventory have an image? Twig? Flint. Those are images, and they look like the right image. Gorgeous. Let's remove the text. I'm lost. Where is this? Where have I been working? We'll remove the text. And we'll just have the image for now. Okay. There's a twig, and there's a flint. So this all does kind of work. And there's grass. I think I'm going to call it quits at that. That is exactly what I had wanted. And I feel like I've not been very enthusiastic today. So I apologize, but this was an intense session for me. But for an hour and 16 minutes, I achieved basically my goal. I might suck it up and do the recipes and hand slot off camera, because that's just going to be copying and pasting. Actually, let me just do it now, because we know it works. So let's see. The only thing I need to riddle out is the hand. And probably we need to get the count back on screen. But we're making progress, and we're using an interesting UI system. So let's bring back the recipe in the hand. Let's see. So, the hand UI. Let's see. Oh, we'll return something different if there's nothing in our hand. So if let some item equals hand item, we'll return this, else we will return something, no item. Oh, it already has an if. Expected curly braces. Now I've really done it. Where are we upset at? Oh no. Alright. This if has curly braces. I'm missing a closing set of curly braces somewhere. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I've really done it. Alright, let me hand format all this. So this is the else. This is the inside. You have curly braces on all of these, right? You close your curly brace, you close your curly brace, you close yours, and you close yours. Clip, you have a hint. Expect your curly braces on a round handle. And we're to say item. Right? Item.item. Let's see. I actually want this if condition anymore. Anyway, the if is probably the correct way to do it, but I don't know enough about this UI system yet to be doing that. Okay, remove all this nonsense, and let's continue on to the recipes. So we have handles, and same as when we did up here, we'll grab that, and we'll remove that, and let's see if this runs. Recipes. They look so crunchy. But we can click on them, and we can put them in our hand, and I can make a shovel, probably. And we can click on it. Do I need to make a shovel? More flint? Yeah. And I can put it in my hand. Oh, this is horrible. But this all works. This all works. I can pick up grass, and if I have the axe in my hand, I can cut down trees. So the resolution's wrong, which I'm sure I can fix. But for now, I'm definitely calling it quits there. This is working. I am incredibly excited. I'm going to immediately post this on Discord. As always, link to the Discord in the description. I will be probably adding this to this pull request and then merging it. And we now have a cool new UI system. I apologize for if this video was lame. Thank you to all of my Patreons. I'll edit your names in at the end. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.